Alright, loves. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Tonight we're going to teach you how to demo record, and apparently also how to tumble roll. The first step in a good demo record session is, of course, getting your ship. Now we're going to pick a new ship for this today. The ship we're going to be picking will be... let's go to Tier 6. I generally find it's easiest to demo record at Tier 6 ships because they are less likely to give me issues with survivability, and exploding is extremely annoying. We're going to go with the Dreadnought Cruiser. So first we need to buy our ship. In this case I already own it, I'm just reclaiming it. So we're going to go pick that up. We're going to choose our name for it. Since it is this era of ship that I'm going to be going for, I'm going to give it an appropriate registry of... let's see, I think I already know what costume we're going to go with, so we're going to give it a registry of 81440. And the Versailles is a perfectly good name. Now we're going to go over, manage ships, scroll down to the Versailles, and ready our ship. Now, while there are plenty of options in terms of how to load out your ship when you're doing most builds, for demo record, I personally try to stick with a build that doesn't have much in the way of issues giving me a lot of graphical visuals, but gives me a lot of options. I like antimatter spread, I don't need this, and gives me a lot of power, and also survivability. So I like a lot of passive bonuses and survivability bonuses. So this is the loadout I'm going to use here. I don't really need a hangar pet for this shoot. But actually, yeah, we'll do a hangar pets add hangar pets to this. That's actually something we can do fun. Alright, I'm gonna take off Omni Beams entirely. Omni Beams have a nasty habit of shooting from your bridge when you're facing forward, and that looks frankly terrible. We're going to ditch quantums, because this ship didn't really use quantums. We're going to ditch dual heavy cannons, and I would like, if I have them, forward-facing dual beam banks for phasers, which I don't know if I have on this character. Yeah, sure. We'll just use some garbage ones. Those will fire out of the top lances, I believe, if I'm correct. And you'll notice I don't have a whole lot of excess power going on here. I'm not even using all of my weapon slots, and that's because it looks a little weird when a single beam array is firing 80 times all at once in 4 different directions. So we're going to stick to 1 torpedo in each, 1 phaser in back, 2 phasers in front, and a dual beam bank for those phaser cannons on top. I'm also going to switch off of that. Having the 3-piece disco set will cause a lightning effect that I just don't really want. The protomatter actually will heal me, so give me a consistent passive healing buff, so I don't actually want that either as a visual effect on my ship. So a lot of the demo record choices I make when it comes to my ship are based on not having a lot of visual effects visible So we're avoiding that, we're avoiding Saifu spam, etc. So we're going to customize our starship. Now the default is, in my opinion, one of the prettiest ships they've made, but we're going to go with a different look. If I were going to go with a canonical ship, that's the easiest route. But if we're going to, say, kit bash, we need to be a little pickier. I like this saucer. I don't like this hull. So we're going to look at the options. Honestly, I think the Galaxy hull is the best, but for the sake of style points, I have to say we may just go with the Yamato. For our neck, the Yamato is a bit overkill. The Venture is nice, the Monarch is kind of hideous, Galaxy is fine. We'll go with the Venture. We'll pick our pylons. Honestly, I still think the Galaxy pylons are the best. In this case, do we want the little fins or not? I kind of like them on this, so we're going to keep them. The nacelles, that's always a hard one for me, but I like the Yamato nacelles, so we're just going to slap those on it. No, maybe not. Ooh, the Sirius cells, those look good. We'll drop those in. She's a fairly aggressive looking ship, which I like. And now we have to pick our material. Now, Galaxy's alright. But I think in this case we're going to go with, let's see. I think a Sovereign refit actually will be nice, and we're going to skip out on patterns. Sometimes I like having a pattern, but honestly, I feel like the most canonical looking version of these ships is no pattern on most of them. Yeah, I like that. It's a weird looking ship to be sure, but I like it. Alright, so we're going to save that preset so that we don't have to deal with it falling off later. Hit apply. Now we're going to beam up to the ship. Alright, now that we're aboard ship, we need to worry about a couple of things. The first one is going to be our stations. I'm going to go with our fire at will as an option, and yeah, beam overload as well. I don't really care too much about what my engineers are doing, what anybody else is doing. The simple reality is, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be using my engineering or my science skills virtually at all. Traits, however, does matter. Skills, I'm going to get rid of Miracle Worker and switch over to Intelligence, so Miracle Worker is not doing any weird secondary effects. Here in Personal Space Traits, again, I'm checking to make sure that nothing that's in here is going to be particularly visually annoying more than anything else, is the term I'm looking for. Starship trades. Let's see. Emergency weapon cycle and science. Going to get rid of entwined tactical matrices. That gives us a specific visual that, frankly, we just don't need. One big happy fleet. We'll drop in overpowered and overgunned. Alright, that's fine. And nothing unusually garish in space reputation, if I remember correctly. Passives are your friends when you're doing a demo record session just for appearance's sake. Alright, there we go. Now, I'm going to go into my spam bar, ditch these because they're annoying. I'm going to drop in a fire at will. Beam overload as well. I think I'm going to put the reroute power on the shields into one of the bars that's not a spam bar, specifically so that I don't have to deal with that dropping itself into my spam bar for some reason. I'm going to put my DPRM down here in slot 1. Antimatter spread, I would like to be able to trigger that. And that's mostly for survivability rather than anything else. I'm also going to include the launch Type 8 shuttles because we do want shuttles on this map, on this build. So, now, if I were to shoot in the ESD area, my first goal would be to go over here and switch over to the map with the fewest players, but we are not going to shoot in ESD tonight. Instead, we are going to come over here to Andoria, and we are going to shoot there instead. This is a nice looking ship, I will say that. We're going to enter the Andorian system, and this is where we'll be doing the majority of our demo record work at peace. Why is it so busy here? That is so weird. Well, hopefully that won't be much of an issue. So, hit backspace, type demo record, and the title of what you want to call either the ship or the video you're making. In this case, I'm just going to type VRS1 for Versailles 1, and we're going to hit enter. You'll see demo record pops up here on the left. We're going to zoom out a bit. That gives us the best view of what we're doing. We're going to start moving forward. Now, there's a lot of people here. That is fascinating. From what I've seen, the Omega particles don't really show up much, so I'm not too concerned about that. Ah, Omega particles, that's why people are here, I bet. So, we're going to come along here and set ourselves up with different shots that we think will look nice. I'm going to curve down a bit and then line myself up with these rings. That'll make a nice shot. Launch ourselves into a curve. That'll look nice over the rings later. While we're here, I'm just going to bump up my weapon power because we will need that later. Twin suns are gorgeous. Let's stop our engines entirely. A shot looking something like that will come out really nice later on. Basically, you're trying to compose shots as you can without locking yourself into too much as you go. You want there to be some flexibility in what happens later down the line. There we go. I think that'll look nice. I love the glint of the hull material. That's going to look nice later on. So basically, a big part, there we go. Lens flare off of the sun, always nice. A big part of what will make a shot look good later is you setting it up now. It's easy to get a little lost in the sauce, as it were, but what you want to really focus on is what will make a ship look good later when you're doing the actual recording. Alright. So, I think we are almost set up on a good lineup here. I like overhead shots over planets. I know that's a bit cliche at this point with my work, but I just really like them. Get that evenly matched on both sides of the ship so that it's more or less perpendicular to the surface of the planet. And you want the vehicle facing whichever way rotating is going to be easiest for you. In this case, facing to the left for me. Yes, we have waffle shadows here in Andoria. That's something they fixed, whatever, quite some time ago and haven't quite repaired yet, which is unfortunate, but I think it'll still look fine for our purposes in terms of learning what we're doing here. Let's see. We're gonna get a good shot of this moon, I think. Fun story about Andoria's rings. On one side, they're immaterial and you can fly through them. On the other side, they're actually physical barriers that you can't fly through, which is just so weird and funny and just so very STO that it almost hurts. I think something like this is a shot I want. I'll find a shot out of this pose. Another great thing you can do is use your environment to create interesting lighting effects. So here I'm going to put myself into fast reverse, get that beautiful lens flare off of the edge of the moon, and turn the ship this way. And right there is my shot. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with that demo record, so we're going to hit demo record stop, all one word, return, and that'll end our demo record session. Alright, so that's the beginning of our demo record session. The next part, wrong button, is going to be going into combat. Now, the easiest method is just a straight up, simple, patrol. So we're going to do the Clearing Civil War to Die with Honor. I'm going to pre-type demo record, and this was the Versailles 2 in this case. I'm not hitting enter. It'll stay there in your text box after you launch the patrol. That's not really a necessary step, but it's something I like to do. So we're just going to clear through that, hit return twice so that our demo recording starts, everything returns to the screen. We're going to start looking for shots. Might have some shots there. I don't want fire at will on for this round. But we'll see what we do next. We're going to
Enemy
lower our
ship
speed.
symbol on an attack vector.
Yeah. I dropped my DPRM there to give me some power. I'm going to use Beam Overload to really do some damage. I'm going to start launching shuttles as well. Now the goal of a demo record session is not to defeat everything quickly. That is your best way to survive in normal content, yes, but in demo record the goal is to get as many shots as you can. And part of that is done by lengthening the fight, making it take longer, making the shooting go on for more time. So you don't want all the threats. You don't want all the threats. You want to get yourself taken care of. Now, I mentioned that being defeated is a pain in the ass. This is because you need to demo record, stop your demo record, because when you come back into demo record after blowing up, sometimes you will find that you are not visible anymore. So we're going to do demo record verse 3, and we're going to start moving in. We're going to launch our shuttles right away. So this Forza attack cruiser, we're going to lead it a little bit, and when it comes into range, now I know that's not going to look good from the back, but it's going to look fantastic from the front. Now we've got an explosion happening, those always look fabulous. Going to come around on this. Always fly around asteroids if you can. Time spent clipping with other objects is time where you can't take pictures.
Countermeasures are ready. Use them to restore the core asset.
See that in the background? That loot drop? Loot drops are your enemy. They are the most immersion-breaking thing in this game, aside from the Saifu spam. So, that explosion we might not have gotten a decent shot of, because these do show up in demo record. For some unfortunate reason. You might notice my control of the ship looks very smooth, and that's because I'm using my mouse to steer a lot of the time. Not always, but a lot of the time. The reason is because it looks so much smoother in terms of changes in direction. Alright, we're going to increase our speed for this. I'm actually going to decrease my speed because I see something very interesting. My main cannon is very close to being online again. Gonna launch more shuttles. Alright, my main cannon is back online. I'm gonna put my shuttles into my spam bar so they... oh. Put them into my spam bar so they show up more frequently. And now we can put fire at will into the spam bar as well as beam overload, because we're going to have so many more targets. Alright, Admiral Dever is here. We're going to lead him a bit because we're also going to hit him with the phaser lance. He's going to blow up my poor little shuttles. Of course, this idiot wants to sit here underneath me and ruin my shot. You know, wait until I'm back up to 80+%, and then I'm going to swing back around for my shot at Admiral Dever. Launch more shuttles. There we go. And phaser lanes. Defeated. I really don't care if I'm defeated or stop again. It's annoying, but ultimately not that big of a deal. Demorecord verse 4. at this point, my goal is just to get rid of him. I've gotten a shot of him. He's fine. He can go away. We're just going to hit him with everything we've got. The goal is just to make him go away at this point. I don't really need shots of him or fighting him. He's kind of just a pain in the ass at this juncture. I've got that healing effect on me, which is unfortunate, but not particularly tragic. It's just annoying more than anything. But you see, even when you try and get rid of all the effects, you have to be so careful because they just show up. Shot ruined by a bad special effect. I keep my throttle fairly low, either a quarter or a half. The reason is because, frankly, in this game, when you're facing your enemy and you're doing more than half speed or half throttle, you outrun your torpedoes, and that just looks goofy as all hell.
Hull integrity below 75%.
So we're going to drop back down to a half throttle while we come in towards this beast. Select specifically Steam Overload. Zip away at full throttle. Cut throttle back to half at about 7 kilometers because she's a big cruiser and she does not turn fast. But we still want to hit her. My sound is cutting out for some reason. There we go. Throwing what we got at her.
I shall return!
Reading a containment
No one
collapse on one of the
cares.
Korak vessels!
I shall return.
We were too late for most of it.
An enemy
Doesn't
force
matter.
just dropped out of warp.
Okay, so we're going to take care of these folks first because they're going to be annoying. Excuse me. Demorecord stop. Sometimes I like to double up on those slashes. I think that's just my keyboard. Honestly, this battle may be enough to result in me not needing to finish this entire patrol just to get all the shots I want. because we've been fighting for a good long time, and remember, the majority of your shots are not going to be of the enemy, they're going to be of your ship. So really what you're looking for is time in on the combat, rather than effectiveness, rather than anything else like that. We're just going to stick around until basically we blow up again. Alright, zip off over here, flip back around. Reduce our speed again, there's another nearby. Torpedo might have been beautiful, we'll see. Taking a lot of damage, and damage being bilateral means it doesn't really look that great. Here, come around, once I'm clear on it, I will fire my torpedo. The torpedo shot, that's really good. The problem with fire at will is sometimes you'll get multiple beams coming out of the same spot, and that just, it looks so goofy. Nobody really likes that. It's fine, but it's not great. So my shield's down, I don't really care. We're gonna come in on this head. Alright. Pretty well done, I think. I think I'm going to hit this fort shell with the beam plants. Yeah, and clear out these last weapons, these last enemies, I mean, and yeah, we'll call that good time. You don't have to stop your demo record, you can just exit a map, and exiting a map will automatically end your demo record session. Alright, that's how we shoot a demo record. Next, we need how to run a demo record session. We're going to pop open Star Trek Online again, and we are going to go to Options. Options, command line, dash, demo play, space, the title of your file, followed by .demo, save. Do not hit enter, I do it all the time. Hit save first, then you can hit enter if you want, and you will go into the server. But because you are doing a demo record, you will not go to a character selection screen, you will just go directly into your recorded video, unless it doesn't work. Sometimes that happens. Why? I don't know. I wish I could say. I didn't fully type demo play. The game is picky, but that's code for you. So we'll be going in, no character selection screen this time, one hopes. There we go. We're going to fast forward here until we get to our first shot. Now I'm not going to go through all the shooting, but I will show you what I basically do. So a lot of people tell you in Demorecord, oh, you always need to be using FOV 35 or 30 or whatever. And that's not terrible advice, but I want you to consider this. There are going to be times, now hit F2 to free up your camera when you're paused. There are going to be times when an FOV slightly narrower is going to be really great. Like if I get zoomed in here on the back of this ship, it looks like a splayed turkey. It looks ridiculous. But I can back up out to here, FOV 20, and she looks great. She looks fine from this angle. And that's because you're further back with a narrow field of view. Now that's the tilde brings up your FOV. But if I have the same FOV from the front, it just, to me, it doesn't look as grand. It really doesn't. So I go to your normal field of view for this sort of shot, and it really does bulk up the front. You get much more foreshortening, much more impact in the front, less in the back. Again, depending on your shot, depending on your angle, that's not necessarily going to be doing you all the best of good. But in this situation, I think it looks better like this. This is your standard field of view, which is somewhere around 47, I believe. In fact, we're going to grab that shot because it's fantastic. Now I'm just going to save it as screenshot 45. I'll rename them in a bulk rename later. Other things to consider: don't do what I did. Don't forget the most important thing to start off with, which is when your camera is in its normal locked position, that's F2 to go back to lock, F2 to get into your navigable camera, render scale space 2. And it looks so much better in render scale 2. It'll also slow down your machine a bit. Like, expect that to happen, because it's going to. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. I think if we bring the sun over, see, I don't always like having my subject centered. I love negative space. I love having a sense of emotion involved in a lot of my shots. So sometimes you'll see me very centered, sometimes you'll see me off to one side. In any event, that's the basics of my demo recording sessions. I will go through the rest of every video, hunting for angle after angle after angle, trying to figure out what looks good. I'll get really close to the ship sometimes. I will get really far away from it at others. This is again another example of where I might use a field of view. Some people recommend always using field of view 35 or between 30 and 40. I will go as tight as 20 for certain shots because that's what will look good, in my opinion. Oh, I did a bad thing and I've Oh, there we go. She froze for a second, but she's back. My computer is good to me. She does her best. She does her best. The other thing that I would say is don't be afraid to take lots of shots. Take 100 shots. Take 150 shots. Go through them. If one of them doesn't work, throw it out. It's better to have taken the shot and decide it's not going to work than to take no shot and find out that your portfolio for that particular vessel feels a little anemic. There's just a lot of options. You have choices. Take advantage of them. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to get crazy with it. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? You don't take a good shot of a ship in a computer game? Nobody's going to lose out. It'll be okay. Hey, just try things. Have fun. Alright, that's it for me today. Have a nice night.